What's going on, y'all? I want to be sure y'all can hear us. Good evening, good Wednesday evening to y'all. I hope everybody is doing well. It's LeBron.
Fanika.
Couch Conversations, the relaunch. It's been a while. It's been a while. Let's just start here. All right, we're gonna get it on out the way.
Y'all done threatened us. Said all manner of things.
All manner of evil towards us. Has it not been? All manner of evil.
I think the kids. Boo probably was like 12 or 13. So they put Katie at about 9?
Amana at 8. Layla about 5 or 6.
No, it might be even younger than that.
Yeah, it's been.
And Boo is grown in college.
It's been a minute. It's been a minute, but I'm so glad tonight that we get to come back to the couch. And man, a lot has transpired since we've actually done a couch conversation. Like, I think that
we've changed couches.
We've changed couches. We've changed houses a couple times. I think the last time we actually did something, it wasn't really a couch conversation. We did something for our anniversary, our 15-year anniversary. So that was 2 years ago. Yeah. Because we're right over here. We did an interview, but we short of it is.
Thing, we promised to come back then.
Then we promised to come back.
But we back now. We back for real. Let me see. I don't know where the camera. Where I'm looking. We're back. I'll just look at it. I'll look in all three directions.
Listen. So before we get going too far, I want to be sure everybody can hear us. If you can hear us, put a thumbs up in the chat. Let us know that our volume is solid. Everything is good on that end. Also, if you could, let us know where you're tuning in from tonight. I want to know where you're watching from, where you're participating from. I want to just be sure that we're all connected, we're all engaged together. Yeah. And again, this is the first night we've done this. I think we just put a graphic out last night saying that we're actually doing it. Made a post about it maybe 2 weeks ago somewhere, or a week ago, end of last week, saying that we were going to come back, and here we are. So before we get full out in couch conversations, let's just give y'all some family updates. All right, let's get the family pieces done. Give us an Ashriel update. Give everybody an Ashriel update real quick.
Y'all, Boo, I took Boo to my homecoming. She was at a PWI, and the woman of God has moved to an HBCU. Glory be to his name. She is doing amazing at Alabama A&M University. She's here for the summer, and I couldn't be more happier about it. I'm very excited to have her here. Does any parent sleep better when all of their kids are under one roof? Just let us know in the chat. I've been sleeping so well because I know all of my kids are home. So, that's been amazing.
I ain't gonna hold you. I love them here. But, I mean, let's be honest. Lele ain't been here all summer, so I'm going to go to Lele update. We ain't seen Lele all summer. I'm going to be honest with you. Lele has been, I don't want to call her the castaway child, but Lele has been in the lake. She's been in the ocean.
She's been in Florida 3 times.
Like, we barely seen Lael this summer, but it's crazy. Lael is making a transition into 7th grade and found out, in essence, she is our all-around athlete.
Oh, I think the last time y'all say Lele, I know when we was doing couch conversations, she was in preschool.
Yes. So
and she's going to the 7th.
Listen, Lele was barely, when I say barely, she was barely doing, at that time, maybe some gymnastics or some dance. Yeah. And now, I mean, she's doing all the sports. She's doing a little bit of everything. Talk about London, y'all, I've been training her,
so in the summer, I always go from, Fanika, First Lady, Auntie. They call me Annie because we're from real country. We say Annie. But in the summer, my name is Coach, and that is what I've been doing. No, London has been doing amazing. She had to have an emergency procedure last week that just kind of caught us off of guard. But we have, I've been so excited for not only just her academic ability, but what she has been doing in track and just breaking records and doing all of the things. And I get to coach my daughter.
Then, of course, Amana, she's had us on the road all summer. I feel like we've been in hotels and Airbnbs more than anything else. with basketball. So everybody is doing exceptionally well. Amana's making her transition into high school. Life is just lifing really, really well, really, really fast. And it's been, Fanique and I were talking about it, it's been like 5 years since we've like done one of these. So I wanted to start first with let me catch y'all up. We know for the greater part of it, most of you all follow us on some type of social. You probably saw this because you follow us on IG or Facebook. You're following somewhere. But we want to be sure we gave like a real quick life update just so everybody got an understanding of what's been happening. Now, in the midst of all that lifing, Fanique and I were talking over the last week or so, like when we come back and if we come back and if we re-engage even the couch conversation piece, what does that look like? What is the first thing we want to say? What is the first thing we want to talk about? How does that sound? How does it look? How does it feel? And we landed on something. And I think that this works for marriages, this works for singles, this works for every part of a relational journey. Tonight, for just a little bit, I feel like I'm giving like the topic of a sermon.
You're so preachery. You can't help yourself.
And I ain't preached in a couple.
So you
weeks.
just feel it.
I feel it like
don't feel it tonight. Don't feel it tonight. Don't feel it.
How to manage when everything's falling apart? How do you manage life? How do you manage existing? How do you manage your relationships when it feels like everything is falling apart? Now, I want to be sure that I'm in the correct space, that we're all on the same page. If you have at least at one point over the last 2 years, maybe 3 years, felt like everything you were doing was just like crumbling right before your eyes. Your marriage under pressure, that is your relationships under fire, that is everything that you thought you were doing and building having to be renegotiated, reoriented. If you've been in a space where you've like had to
job loss,
grief,
death, of someone close, all of the things.
All the things. If you have been in that space, just drop an emoji in the chat real quick. I want to be sure we're all on the same page, because I want to drive a couple of pieces home, and to do that, I need to give y'all some backstory. It's going to require a level of vulnerability. So I'm going to share some of what our story and plight has been just over the last 5 years, why we haven't been as present. And then I want to take a few moments and we're going to just kind of talk to y'all through how we've navigated on the other side of it, okay? This is, to try to be sure I give you all the disclaimers. There is no perfect marriage.
Absolutely.
There is no perfect relationship.
Absolutely.
There's no perfect friendship. There's going to always have flaws. They're going to have issues. They're going to have challenges, right? There's no place called perfection. What we want to do tonight, just give y'all a little bit of our vulnerability so that you all can see as we come back how we plan on building it forward.
Yeah.
Okay. Fanika, what is the thing, and then I'm going to go into my part of it. What's the thing that you have felt like was just kind of falling apart for, let's just say you, then we'll talk about the us, over the last 4 or 5 years since we've been on one of these couches?
Just ask that one more time.
What is the thing you felt like maybe for you started falling apart?
My confidence. I would say my confidence. It's one thing to just finding yourself in a place like literally overnight. Like I'm excited. I'm opening my store, opening my boutique, and then literally all in one night, everything just begins to shift. And you just hear things, all manner of things said about you that not true. And it's like, oh my God. And it takes a shot at your confidence. Yeah.
So you would say confidence for you.
Yeah.
So I'll start here. When we last were together, like doing couch conversations, just kind of building first in the marriage space. In 2019, we did our very first Friends First event where we brought couples together at Chateau Elan, had an amazing time, like just doing life with other relationships, other marriages. It was just a great time together. And then 2020 came, and we're planning an event for both couples and for singles.
Yeah.
Then in the midst of that doggone COVID. When I say COVID it, right?
Yeah.
COVID came, world shut down. We kind of shut all those pieces down as well. But in the midst of that, in the midst of those changes, we made probably the most significant move we've made in now over 20 years of ministry.
Yeah.
And we've done life together. Fanika and I have been married 17 years and 2 months. And we've done a lot of life together. We've moved a lot of places. We've lived in Tulsa, lived in Chattanooga, we've lived in Huntsville, we've lived in Tucson, we've lived in Atlanta. I feel like all of the metro area of Atlanta. Yeah. So we've done a lot of life together. But we made probably the most significant move we've made from a ministry perspective at the end of 2020. And even though we knew that it was a God move, and I want to be sure that I want everyone to hear me as I say this, because I want to hit it for singles, I want to hit it for couples, I want to hit it for everybody.
Yeah.
You can make a God move and still feel grief on the other side of the move. Can we talk about it for a moment? It is, and I think it's the part that we don't give enough credence to, that it's very possible for you to make a God-ordained, a God-designed move to do exactly what God has told you to do and go through a period of grief, right? Feel like you're in a valley of sorts because you obeyed God, but sometimes obedience doesn't feel as well as you would want it to feel. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you can obey, like sometimes the girls will obey us, but you can tell they don't really want to obey your body language, disposition, everything.
Absolutely.
Right? So it's very possible that you can obey God and go through a period of grief. Now this is just for me, and I want to give this for every man. I want to say this part for every husband. The period of grief that I entered into making that major move. We were a part of All Nations. We launched out and started Belong. Yeah. The part of grief that I probably dealt with the most was not leaving an entity, wasn't leaving an organization. It was the part of now going into unexpected and uncharted territory and feeling as if as I was navigating it, I was losing the ability to lead my family with the same strength and fervor, right? So it's one thing to make a change, and it's another thing to make a change that God's ordained. Then there's the moment where, man, we've made this change, but now I've got so much uncertainty around the change. I've got grief around it. Yeah. I've got uncertainty around it. And let me tell you, here's the truth. We make a ministry change and Fanika's business booms. I mean, it's almost like this is how you know, like you're in a space where you're obeying and you're following the will of God. Yeah. We make a change from ministry. Things on a ministry side start to dissipate, but God gave us enough wisdom to already prepare the next ram in the bush, and Vanika's business starts booming. Well, Vanika's business started booming to such a degree, I'm like, you know what? I ain't necessarily got to go back and do this. You know what I mean? I don't mind. Now, I ain't going to try no dresses on.
But I keep the books. You sitting there? Was it like eye candy for me?
I knew how to run a little register. You know what I mean? They taught me how to put clothes on racks, all that stuff. You know, I can manage all the back end stuff. And here's where I'm trying to arrive with this, and then we'll go into the meat of what we want to talk about tonight. For the last 2.5, maybe 3 years, Vanika has really been making strong statements for us to come back into this space. Now, this is the God honest truth. Yeah. Vanika's been asking, Vanika's been pushing, Vanika's been saying, hey, maybe we need to do this. Or, hey, what about this? Or, hey, what, I already did wife school. What if you do husband school? And I'm like, yeah, I got this going on. I got that going on. Yeah. But the truth is, there were still parts of transition that I was grieving that shook me to the point where I felt like I lost part of my ability to do what I knew I was called to do. Yeah. Right? Not losing my ability to speak, to preach, to communicate, but the part of being called to people to the degree that I know we are. I lost my confidence in my voice, in my ability to do that at the level I know we should.
Yeah.
For every man, for every husband in waiting, for every individual with some testosterone in your system, I cannot say this part enough. It matters who you marry.
Yeah.
Like, your life is going to go through, your relationship is going to go through ebbs, it's going to go through flows, it's going to go have moments where things are really well, it's going to have moments where things are really challenging. But in your valley, you want someone that still sees victory in you,
Absolutely.
right? Like when you're in grief, you want someone that still sees the good in you. And it matters who's speaking to you when you feel like you're at your lowest, right? Because all marriages go well, all relationships go well when sex is good, when the money is good, when the communication is strong, when date nights are date nighting.
Yeah.
But what happens when everything starts to crumble and it feels like you've lost your grip because of grief, and it feels like everything that you've done, everything that you've built is falling apart?
You know, for me, it was a place where I had to stop looking externally and start looking internally. Not just in myself, but I mean in our home, in our family. What I learned is a lot of times when things are falling apart, we are chasing, well, what are they saying? What is everybody doing? I literally got off of social media. I went on a blocking spree, and this is the thing. And it wasn't even that it was a jealousy thing or anything like that. Some things was just trigger points, and so I did not want to even see certain things, right? And so I shielded myself versus, because this is the thing, we can get 99 comments and people say something amazing about you, right? You get the one comment, somebody say something negative, what you do? You don't comment to the 99, you're gonna go clowning about the one, right? And so what I had to learn, even in this moment of things falling apart, was like, do I keep searching externally? No, let me turn into our family. Literally, we almost put ourselves in a bubble. Really, that's really why, like you see me pop out on my IG stories and things like that, but just the things that we were doing once before, we kind of went internally, turned into ourselves, went into a bubble, and really focused on one another. You know, because this is the thing, when things fall apart, the first thing is you'll start having issues with your marriage, right? And you're bickering and you're fighting and you're doing all the things. You start, being tested with your kids. You have low patience and all of these things. And what I said, that in this moment, I do not want to lose my family in this. We have lost church building. We have even lost reputation. I never experienced anything like this in my life, right? Reputation. I said, but what I refuse to lose is the love that we have for one another and the love that we have for our children. And so literally, we put ourselves in this bubble and we really turned into one another and say, I'm gonna just cut out all the noise. I'm not going to play into it. I'm not going to listen to it. And this is the thing too. Some people do have good intentions. When they come and say, cause honey, if I was you, this is the way I would have handled it. I would have pulled receipts. I would have did da da da. And my husband said, the Lord said we will be silent. And we would really watch scripture. We would really watch the Lord fight our battle. And we did that. And I believe that we were able to come out on another side because the way we handled that transition moment, that moment of grief, that moment of losing confidence, that moment of almost losing self. But this is the thing. In the midst of that, it felt like we was winning in one area, and I mean losing royally in another area. We might have to come back and talk about you talking about not just tipping the scale. You talking about, business is taking off, right? We built our dream home, all while grieving, all while nursing pain, all while nursing self-esteem and trying to be sure you for a wife. Let me speak for me.
Yeah.
It's being sure that I can show up for my husband. Okay? Y'all understand what I say about show up for my husband, right? And not saying, oh, because this is going on, I cannot be there for you. Showing up fully for my children, not just being an autopilot. You all know how to be an autopilot, like, right? Because we can function and do these things even when we not quite there, but we just kind of going through the motions because we know what to do. I didn't want to do that. And so we said for ourselves, we're going to turn in inwardly and we are going to figure this thing out together. And our family is the stronger because of it.
I would definitely wholeheartedly agree that as a family unit and structure, this is probably the strongest we have ever been. And then there's a place of, you've got your internal strength, and our mechanisms in the house are probably tighter than they've ever been. Watching now as we raise teenage girls, it's crazy to say we raise teenage girls, but their relationships together and their relationship with their mother. We don't have like the teenage drama stuff because of, not a lot of it.
Yeah, no.
But it's because of how strong or how much we turn inwardly. But now we're at the space of, okay, we've turned in, but we're still called out. Right?
That's right.
Like we've taken time to be sure that we insulated this space, like we insulated this. Because I want to be sure I insert this part here. If you're not careful, grief will deteriorate and rot everything you love too, right? Grief unmanaged, grief unchecked has the ability to turn everything you've built to bitter. Right. So I wanted to be sure, like for me, because I went through a moment of bitterness, still having to build, still having to do what God was saying to do, but still feeling bitter in it. But more than anything, wanting to be sure that our home was like secure.
Can I add this in?
Yeah.
Okay, let me add this in. And why, when you ask me that question, now my mind is going. So the reason why I turn inward, right? Of course, we've gone through things before, and some of you know, some of you don't. When we lost a child, I went into labor with a baby before Lael, and I was too early on, but they could not stop the pregnancy, so I had to full out push, do all the things, right? And I felt like Ruth, I went out full and I came back empty, to go into a hospital one way and then to come back, another way, right? Naomi, I'm sorry. And so I did not turn inward. I was angry with God. I was bitter. I was sad. I did not know how to communicate that to my husband. It put a wedge between us. I mean, so much to the point I was so out of mind, was probably the one and only time I ever thought about walking away from our marriage, because the grief was just grieving. And I did not know how to communicate it to him. And I felt like, as a woman, as a wife, especially because of what my husband does, I didn't want to be a burden to him. So let me speak to the women, single, in relationship, married, dating, where, we say, I don't want to be a bother. So I'm not going to really say the things that are on my heart and my mind. You're really doing that man a disservice, because one, they cannot read your mind, but two, you're allowing bitterness and wedges to set up when you don't have the communication. This is person you've said, this is person I want to spend the rest of my life with, or this is my person. I can't have the tough conversations with my person. I never, after that night, we cried that night, we never talked about it again. I showed up at church with a diaper on the next Sunday, consoling my members, because I did not know how to handle grief. And so what I did was I just over spiritualized, right? The Lord give, the Lord take it away, blessed be the name of the Lord, right? And so I got into this whole churchy and this whole colloquialism and how I should present myself as a pastor's wife, and forgetting that I was a woman first.
Wow.
I was a woman first. And I lost a baby. I went into labor with the baby. My body still took 6 weeks to recover. And I'm just going to show up at church and hug on people and greet them as they're crying, as if, and I didn't know how to communicate. And I'm saying, you don't see that I'm hurting? No, he didn't see I was hurting because I wasn't presenting that. So I'm angry with him for something that I wouldn't even present to him. Baby, I had dressed that thing up so well. I lay in bed, tip out at night, cry. Like, you don't hear me get out the bed. You don't hear me crying. But I never had the conversation. So when something came back around that was felt like things were falling apart, I said, this time I'm going to do something different. We're going to do something different, and I'm going to be sure we're probably over talking. We're probably over talking, right? That's why your boys talking about, I'm going to leave. I ain't going to preach no more. I'm going to work the boutique, and I'm going to do it. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. You're not going to do that. But we were able to have the talks, the tough talks with one another to not allow the enemy a foot in, because we had already got that wrong before.
Absolutely. So how do you manage when it feels like everything is falling apart? How do you restart or reset? One, Fanika talked about turning inwardly, and I think that's probably the most important, especially for couples, the space where you give yourself the right to rejoice and to regret. Where you give yourself the space to have the conversations that are necessary to help you move on. My piece with it is, sometimes the best thing that could ever happen to you is that everything does fall apart. I know that that's going to be a hard one for some to really digest and receive, but the truth is, sometimes the best things that God does for us is allow everything that we thought we needed to suddenly fall apart. Everything that we've built our life on, everything that we've built our story on, everything that we've called significant, because an even greater truth is, it's very possible that the things that you've built on or built around become an idol to the one who wants to be the center of it all, holding it together. And sometimes God allows it all to crumble, not because he doesn't love us, but because he loves us enough to not allow us to keep leading and living in the direction that we're going in. Now, and I'm going to say this in every respect. I've watched this happen for marriages where men and women were on the brink of saying goodbye to one another, separated, not functioning at all as a couple and feeling like everything had fallen apart. But when they returned to the true first love, the Lord restored everything in them around them. I've watched it happen with people in business and having moments where business boomed and then valleys get so low it feels like everything's falling apart. But when we recenter and refocus on what really matters, what remains is really what we needed. And here's what I've discovered. Some of the things we've lost or that we lost over the last several years, we actually didn't need anyway. Now, here it is. You find out what you really have and what you really need when you have nothing to offer either space. Like, that's the best way I can say it. You find out who's really with you and for you, and you find out who you really need at this juncture or this crossroad of your life. When you've got, like Claire Huxtable, Fanika wasn't a big TV person. Y'all remember that time Claire Huxtable got so fed up with life? She was fed up with a kid. She was fed up with Cliff. She said, I've got nothing left to give. I've got nothing left to give, Cliff. Like, it was a whole moment where motherhood had flooded her. She said, I've got nothing left to give, right? She sent her away for 24 hours. Claire was ready to come, bring me back to my kids, right?
That's me all day. That's me all day.
But when you hit that point where you've got nothing you can give, nothing you can offer anyone, I think that's the moment where God begins to reveal to you who you need, what you need, and why you need it. So tonight, here's what I want to say. I want to say a couple more things, and y'all, we just wanted to come on.
Yeah.
The big thing is we just needed to get started.
Yeah.
Like we had to come back to the couch, right?
Yeah.
We had to make it back to the couch to at least get started. Our plan was not to keep y'all on here for a couple hours on a live. No, we needed to do this. This is selfishly, this is probably more for us than it is for y'all.
Yeah.
We had to do something to at least get the ball rolling in the right direction. So here's what I want to say. Number one, for every married couple, if right now your marriage feels like it is on thin ice, you are in a season or in a moment where it feels like your ground is shaky, you're unsure of how to proceed forward, you don't know what your next action is going to look like.
Yeah.
I'm going to take Fanika's words, turn inward.
Yeah.
I'm going to remind you of this. The one that you're sleeping with, the one that you're living with, the one that you're sharing life and space with, no matter how much you may disagree right now, that's not your enemy.
That's right.
I cannot say it enough. That person, that individual, that spouse, no matter how egregious their fault may have been, that's not your enemy. It's not. We do not wrestle against flesh and blood, powers, principalities, spiritual wickedness in high places.
Yeah.
The one you said yes to is not your enemy. They may not be your favorite person in the world. Now, I'm sure this never happened with Fanika. You know what I mean? Because I'm always.
You're right.
Know,
You're right. Come on, bring it in.
But there are moments where you love them but you don't like them. If that's you, just say it in the chat. Like I know what it is. I love them but I don't like them. I want you to remember, number one, that's not your enemy. God specifically designed and wired them for you. Yeah. And in moments where it feels like you all are not on the same page, on the same chapter, sometimes in the same book, turn back inward.
Turn inward.
Like, remember your why. Yeah. Remember why you came together. Do your best not to go to bed angry. Yeah. Don't let your bed turn cold because if your bed turns cold, your heart will too. Yeah. So keep with everything that you can. Find a place of common ground, common communication, so you can turn back inwardly to fix what it feels like is broken.
And speak what you're trying to see.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, I know reality, this is right? Mm-hmm. Speak those things that are not, that is so they will, right? I understand that. Yeah. So start speaking those things. My marriage is strong. My marriage is healthy. Even if this is not what's presenting right now, right? These are the things you will start speaking over when you're turning inward. Let's see, Google is your best friend. Okay, if I've got this issue, let me get this scripture. You ain't got to do 50 scriptures, get you 3. Get you 3. Let that thing take root down in your heart. Mm-hmm. Keep praying it over and over your family, right? These are just small, practical things that you do when you begin to turn inward. Because I know somebody say, okay, that sounds cute, turn inward and do what, right? This is not inward to be arguing. This is not inward to talk down, to belittle, to do all of those things. This is saying, man, I'm going to make a conscious decision. We saying we're going to stick this thing out. We're going to ride this thing out. We're going to figure this thing out. Then we're going to do it and we're going to do it fairly. That's what we're going to do. We're going to do it and we're going to do it fairly.
Now I ain't gonna hold y'all. Let's put it all the way out there. 2 of our babies are in the room right now. Y'all, there was one morning I woke up and y'all, I promise y'all, Fanika was descending on my face with a pillow. I ain't gonna hold you. I thought she was about to try to smother me out. Now don't get on this. Don't get on Dionne Ward's internet. Y'all,
is she still alive?
I thought.
Because you lied.
Yeah, I thought
you lied.
I thought
it's what you do.
I thought she was about to kill me. But thanks be to God, we made it out. We survived. We survived. All right. So number one, hold on to this. Yeah. Married couples, turn inwardly. Yeah. For those that are engaged, those of you that if you're engaged or you're dating seriously, drop something in the chat real quick because I've got something for you. if if you're in
Yeah.
a moment of what we call intense fellowship, we don't fight. We have
Yeah.
intense fellowship, right? We don't knock out, drag out, but
Yeah,
the,
yeah,
the fellowship get
So I'm
you
not
get
about to
into.
argue. I'm not about to argue. I'm gonna say my piece.
So if you're in that engaged or dating space and you all are finding yourself in that space of contention, you've got to recognize the seasons, right? You may now be seeing someone in a season that they have yet to present to you,
Yeah.
right? And I think that the greatest wisdom for anyone relationally that's looking to say yes to marriage, yes to a future, don't say yes before you have weathered every season.
Now
Right?
that's the truth.
Like don't overcommit before you have seen the presentation of every season. Like you've got to know you've already met the happy them. You've already met the them that can court you well.
Yeah.
Have you seen the them that presents when they're angry or they don't get their way?
Yeah.
Have you seen the them that presents when there is a tumultuous moment happening that is externally motivated? So
Yeah.
something's going wrong at work or something's going wrong with their family.
Yeah.
Have you met the parts of their family that help to make up their DNA and their makeup? So you can see how they respond in particular environments, right? So I always say, like, make sure you see them in every season. But if you're engaged, you're dating seriously on the path towards marriage, and there is a moment or a set of moments that come up that makes it feel like things are falling apart,
Yeah.
I always say this: check again for the flags, and I mean this in a good way too.
Yeah.
Don't just check for the red ones, check for the green ones.
Yeah.
Like, is this someone who I can see myself having a bad day with 5 years down the line, and I like how they present, even though I don't like the way it's having to be presented? Like, here's what I mean. Is this someone that argues fair? Right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
we are into it. Is this somebody that do they play fair when they argue?
Yeah.
Or they want to start throwing stuff, breaking stuff? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
don't break up my stuff. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
don't
No,
you
and
wanna
that,
get
and
mad,
that's
don't-
true.
Yeah.
Even for us,
Yeah.
I would say I was a runner, right?
She's a runner. She's a track star.
You
sorry.
really
I couldn't miss
one
it.
tonight. You really on one tonight.
We're back. We're
Oh,
back.
Hallelujah. I am a runner. Okay, when things get tough, I take off. I do my own thing. I can take care of me. I don't need nobody. I'm strong. I'm independent. I'm all the things, right? Even in our friendship, he was like, "All right, I'll see you later. I'm coming back over." No, you can't come over here. I'm mad. Like, but like this is. And what I learned, even in that, became a green flag was when I got into those spaces. Until I really allowed the Lord to heal me in that area, He just always remained. That, my ladies and gentlemen, is a green flag.
Great point. And I mean, and it's the truth. Here's the thing.
But because I mean,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
you know
I always want to give like,
Yep.
you know, because it's one thing to say, okay, red flag,
Yep.
because we
Yep.
talk about a lot of
We'll
red
red flag
flags.
it to death.
Okay,
We will. We'll red
but
flag it to death.
but there's some
There's some green flags
yeah,
too.
there's
Absolutely.
some character things,
Yep.
some things, right? We can talk about the packaging.
Yep.
Right? Oh, they don't dress like that. That's packaging. I'm talking about content. What's on the inside? Who they are
Yep.
to their core.
Right.
Those are green flags. These are things that we need to be worried about when we
Absolutely.
dating. Not
Absolutely.
packaging.
Yep. So when everything is falling apart or feels like it's falling apart and you're in the midst of a process, check the flags. And again, you'll see them all. You'll see red, you'll see yellow, you'll see green.
Yeah.
You need to list it out. Like, what about, like, in hindsight, now that we're out of this moment of disagreement, what did I like about the way that we managed that? What could potentially be detrimental if we keep down this path and don't address it? What, to me, if they can't fix this, could potentially be a deal breaker?
Yeah.
Like, if every time you're mad, you want to swing, then this is like a potential deal breaker.
Yeah.
But if every time you're mad, you just like to raise your voice, and I just don't like when anybody yells at me, this is more of a yellow flag. This is
Yeah.
something that can be like negotiated. If when we get into it, you're peaceful and you're patient, that's my green flag. So find your flags,
Yeah.
categorize them appropriately, but don't say yes till you've seen every season.
Yeah.
For all of my single people that are navigating relationships at every turn, I will say this: when it feels like everything is falling apart and the life that you thought you were building for yourself, the life that you thought you were building to share with someone, everything in your life feels like it's just deteriorating right before your eyes. I'm going to say this is a hard part to say, but I've already addressed it once, so let's just go ahead and put it in. Let it.
Yeah.
Here we go, y'all. There may be some systems, some things, and some people that need to deteriorate out of your life so that God can send what's been held up from entering into your life.
Yeah.
Don't rush to rebuild what you felt like you were responsible for. Rather, let everything, chips fall where they may. There's a scripture in Hebrews that talks about whatever can be shaken, let it be shaken. Whatever will remain, let it remain.
That's right.
Right? So if it feels like everything is falling apart, I want you to release yourself from the responsibility of being super savior. I want you to release yourself from being Superman, Superwoman, and feeling like you are the one that's got to fix it on every front. Yeah. And I want you to let everything fall where it may. Don't rush to run to the rescue and see what remains. You'll find yourself once everything falls apart. You can lose everything else, but I promise you, you won't lose you. You'll discover the real you. You'll discover the you that you did not know and or see on the other side.
You know, the prophet Fantasia, the prophet says,
Free yourself.
Sometimes you gotta lose.
To do what?
To win again.
Okay. What's the other part?
Okay.
Go ahead.
So,
go ahead.
No.
I felt the melodies from heaven coming
feel that thing. I was trying to, clean out my windpipe, but I don't sing no more. But listen, sometimes you have to lose to win again, and it's tough, right? Yep. Especially as we're getting older. So you say, I shouldn't even be dealing with this, right? We shouldn't even be starting over in our mid-40s, or if you're in your 30s, or you're in your late 20s, right? And we have all these timelines of how life is going, and it just felt like at one time everything was going great, like literally the rug was pulled. So you talking about not even being prepared. Like there's certain storms or there are certain transitions that happen, right? You can have a parent that's sick and have ailment, and you can kind of, you're never ready for them to transition, but you have time to prepare.
Yep.
But when life happens and the rug is pulled and you don't have time to prepare, you ain't got your speech ready. You ain't got all of these things checked off in the box. Okay, because when this happens, I know we got to do this, right? Because we get in that mode, right? I know I got to do this. I know. But when the rug is pulled and you're not prepared, how do you handle those moments? And I think we're gonna come back and really talk and dig a little deeper into that space, because there's one thing when you see the storm, or someone was able to track the storm and to get on and broadcast, the storm is coming, take shelter, or an alarm blare and say, get low, get in the deep place. But what happens when there are no storm chasers? There's nobody to tell you that the storm is coming. And all of a sudden, you wake up one day and you're standing literally in the eye of the storm. And just how are you bouncing back? I just want to say to you, babe, it's been beautiful to watch you. And what I've committed to you, and this ain't something I'm saying on camera because I've said it off camera, is that I ain't gonna let you quit.
Absolutely.
And so being with the person who is your person?
Yep.
Who is your person? Yep. Who is your person that you allow to speak to you while you're in the storm?
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
You're right. No, and it's the truth. So if everything feels like it's falling apart, let it. This is for every space of your life. Don't allow yourself to want or feel like you have to rescue everything trust the God that's held you together the whole time,
Yeah.
and believe that He's going to hold all this together at the
Yeah.
same time. And here's what I believe: for every marriage, for everyone seriously dating,
Yeah.
praying to date one day, praying to be engaged one day, for those that are just single, just like, I want to be better, a better friend, I want to be a better son or a better daughter. I believe God has the ability to strengthen every relationship around you.
Yeah.
And even when they fall apart, it doesn't mean your life is. Even when everything around you isn't making sense, it doesn't mean that God isn't in the midst of it to make it make sense. And not to give another just biblical
You can't
analogy
help
with
yourself.
it,
You can't help yourself. You're preaching.
but here it is. When Elijah was on the run for his life, a space of isolation, running from Ahab, running from Jezebel, he goes into a mountain. He hears wind. He hears a tornado. God isn't in the tornado. He hears, or there's a fire. The Lord isn't in the fire. But then there's a still small voice. And the Bible says Elijah took the cloak and he covered his face. And he knew then that it was the voice of the Lord. Sometimes when things are falling apart, we're in such a rush to hear the next big thing. But what if when it felt like everything was falling apart, God was about to speak to you again in the whisper? Yeah. All right. I'm going to end this portion of this way. I want to pray for every marriage that feels like we're in the midst of challenge, a season of change, a season of evolution. And it feels like some of the components that we started with, we no longer have. And it feels like part of who we are is falling apart. I want to infuse faith in you that it can feel like it's falling apart, but you're not going to lose yourself. And you're not going to lose the promise from God. I want to pray the same prayer for every couple that's dating and that's engaged and that's looking for an opportunity to figure out what next looks like for you relationally. And I want to pray for every single person. I don't think we've ever ended couch conversations in a prayer.
We haven't.
It's just because I ain't been in a pulpit in a while. It's got to be it.
It is.
But for every single person, I want to end with a very simple prayer for you, that God is not just going to help you find your person, but in the midst of finding who God has called to be a part of your life, you're going to be in such a healthy and stable place when they arrive. You won't second guess the voice of God when they show up. Really quick prayers. Father, for every marriage, fortify it again. Give it the strength to hold on to its foundation. Let your name be the cornerstone and the bedrock that holds it together. And if the building falls, as long as they have you, they still have everything they need. For every couple on the brink of making a major life decision and life change, preparing to become one, looking to become one, I'm praying that as life storms make them feel as if they're losing it all, as long as they hold to you and the promise you made, they'll find themselves on the right side of every season and every situation. Finally, Father, for every single person that's been waiting, and some of them feel like they've been waiting a long time for what you promised them to show up, I thank you that they're not going to lose themselves in the wait. Yeah. They're going to find you, and they're going to find the thing that you've designed specifically for them. And they're going to walk out the call and the purpose that they were born and created for. We believe that to be so. In Jesus' name, amen. You know what it is? I just realized what it is. It just hit me while this is on me. I'm doing a wedding this weekend.
Is that what's on you?
That's what it is. It's the wedding. That's what it is.
I said, okay, well, we're going to pray in the couch conversations then, Pastor. All right.
I got a wedding this weekend. And we talk, okay, okay. Now, all right, so here it is. Here's how we end all this, y'all.
We love him. We love him.
I'm so grateful to be back on the couch. Let me start here. I'm so grateful to be back on the couch tonight. I'm grateful. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
We did it.
We did.
But that's not where it stops.
Yeah.
Okay. We are committing to y'all at least once a month to be back on the couch conversation.
Yeah.
Now, they're not all going to be live. We're pre-record some of these pieces, but once a month,
Yeah.
we're going to present you all with the couch conversation. That's our promise to you all,
Yeah.
at least once a month. But at the end of this month, July 28th, 29th, and 30th, we want to invite you all back into our house.
Yeah.
And we want to do a 3-day journey we're calling Relationship Revolution. And for 3 days, all we're going to do is soul work.
Yeah.
We're going to talk through every challenge that may have been presenting itself to you in relationships or in your singleness. We're going to talk about the triggers, and we're going to talk about the traumas. We're going to talk about the opportunity you have to prosper and find your joy again. That where you find prosperity because your soul is prospering.
Yeah.
Where we deal with mind, will, emotion over 3 days, July 28th, 29th, and 30th. 3 nights together.
Yeah.
We'll have work, we'll have pre-work, we'll have homework, we'll have post-work.
Yeah.
But I'm believing that as we journey back into this space, that, you know, as we build these communities, one thing we've promised our followers on Facebook and IG, one thing I know that we're called to, we're called to build safe spaces for relationships.
Yeah.
But we're also called to prepare people for what relationships will be and look like. I don't feel like we're just called to marriages. I feel like we always have a heart for marriage. We have a heart for family. It's not to say that we do family perfect or that we do it the only right way.
Right.
But I feel like the way that we do it is strong. I feel like our kids love us.
Yeah.
I feel like anybody that's around us, if nothing else they get, it's the authenticity of family.
Absolutely.
Right? Fanika has to be one of the world's best mothers and wives.
Thank you.
Like she just does it well. I'm figuring out all of the fathering girls space. 'Cause let me
You
tell
killing it.
The
You
world,
killing it, brother. You killing
things
it, brother.
change. Things change with these girls. Let me tell you something.
Killing it. You out here killing it,
When
brother.
everybody got estrogen on, whew, and when just about everybody got their moment, Jesus.
You said.
Jesus.
That make the shoulder shake.
When any week can be somebody's week in the house. I just need y'all to pray because it's just whoo. But all that to say, we're called to singles.
Yeah.
We're called to marriages. We're called to family. And we are committed to building space for all of those groups. We're committed to mentoring in both group settings and some one-on-one settings. We're committed to making those things happen. And tonight was you just got to get started again.
Yeah.
Right? This was the night to come live because we could have pre-recorded this. We wanted to do it live with great intention.
Yeah.
This is our night to say, hey, just get your feet back in the water. Do it again. And once you get started, just keep going. So thank you all of you for your pushes for us, right?
Yeah.
Pushing us to continue these parts or to relaunch these parts of what we do. And tonight, if you want to be a part of the 3-day soul work session that we're doing at the end of this month, there's a link that's being dropped. It might have already been dropped. I haven't been paying enough attention. A link that was
and it's
dropped.
free.
Yep, it's free.
It's free.
Just come on in the room, right? 3 days, we're doing soul work together. Share it with your communities, share it with your friends. If you've got some married friends that just need to work some stuff out together, share it with them. If you got some single friends that need to work some stuff out, share it with them. This is, it's going to be a catch-all, but we're going to cover everything for everyone over 3 nights live together. And I would love for you all to be a part of it. And it's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
We're going to laugh. We're going to joke. Fanika probably going to make y'all cry. I'm probably going to end up being a father in the midst of it. You know, all those things happen in the midst of these interactions. But I'm looking forward to it. So if it's 20 of you or if it's 2,000 of you, I believe we're going to have a great time together just doing soul work. So we'd love to have you all a part of that. Fanika, you got anything else you want to share tonight?
No, that's it. I'm excited. I'm excited that we're back. I'm excited even in the transition of finding healing and finding our voice again. And, I'm excited.
It's going to be good. So
I'm excited.
Y'all, I want to thank London for running cameras tonight. We got London on camera. We got Chaselin engaged in the chat, making sure everything stays fine.
My grandbaby on staff, he doing good.
It's been a good night. And I just want to, again, thank y'all for coming in the room to the couch with us tonight. We're going to leave this one up. You can come back, watch, replay, all that great stuff. We love y'all. We'll see y'all on IG and on Facebook. And if nothing else, we'll see y'all in a week and a half, July 28th, for night one of Relationship Revolution. See y'all soon.